good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on where you are getting me from. I just wanted to share with you a few issues surrounding the integration of solar PV into the distribution network. I want to bring out certain concepts that you might have heard of or might not have heard of, which is referred to as the hosting capacity. So in this video and other series of videos to come, you are going to learn a bit more about some of the impacts that grid integrated solar will have to a distribution network. Follow this series and understand a bit more about epistemic and aleatory uncertainties when it comes to adding solar PV to a distribution network with a view of injecting surplus into the network. See you and join me in these videos. Thank you very much.
To begin with, I start to explain the principle of solar PV hosting capacity. In a distribution network, we see customers as shown in this diagram. If you have one customer with solar PV, which is shown there, then the other customers don't have PV. There is basically a local impact at the customer. There is a local impact at the customer. But then with time, you find that the number of customers that install solar PV increases. As we can see on the second diagram here, from one customer which had solar PV to multiple customers that are distributed. So in this case, you have local impact at multiple customers in that distribution network. So this will actually bring about distribution grid impacts. Some of these impacts extend to the voltage magnitude rise, overloading, and the voltage unbalance. In most of the papers that have been published, the voltage magnitude rise and the overloading have been studied more than the other impacts. Some of the other impacts also associated with the penetration of solar PV includes the fast voltage variations, which is flicker, protection, frequency control, harmonics, which can be interharmonics or supraharmonics. So when we have such an impact on the distribution network, then we know that there is actually the limit to the penetration of solar PV. So if we use this illustration here, we see that with an existing level of a certain phenomena, which can be voltage or overloading, with the increase in solar PV penetration, you find that this starts to deteriorate from the acceptable deterioration to the unacceptable deterioration. And then we have got a limit that has got to be adhered to. So once we meet this limit, then we find the maximum amount of solar PV generation in that distribution network, which is known as the hosting capacity.